From early 2020 up until now, 2021, the world and also us struggling together for this pandemic COVID-19. It is undeniable that COVID-19 has changed our daily life, our daily routine. For example, as Indonesian, we are used to meet lots of people. We are used to shake hand with other peoples. We are used to salim with our parents, and etc. But when the pandemic strikes, we are forced to not doing our routine again. Currently, we are using Zoom to do some meetings. We are using some Skype or etc. to do our daily routine. It is undeniably that the COVID-19 has disrupted our world, that forcing us to go digitalization. It is not only about digitalization. The COVID-19 also affecting how business run, especially in Indonesia. For about 2 years right now, in Indonesia and all over the world are struggling to fighting this COVID-19. Not many businesses able to survive these pandemic waves. There's lots of business that already bankrupt, cannot survive this pandemic wave. But there is still a hope. Some of the company are able to survive, are not only surviving, but they're also able to grow positive in COVID pandemic situation. For example, Kalbe. Kalbe has able to note a positive growth of 2.1% in first quarter in 2020, when Indonesia stated in 2020 they are in negative growth, which is negative 2.1%. It is 180 degrees from what Kalbe has noted. So is it only because Kalbe is selling their products that they have growth in 2.1% despite the COVID pandemic situation? Or is it something else that they have performed? They have adjusting their business strategy so they can survive, not only survive, but they also can keep up growing in this pandemic situation. So right now, I would like to invite some stakeholders from the Kalbe Futures Company. So let's hear a little bit what in Mr. Funky opinion. So welcome, Mr. Funky.
Mr. Azhar, I will explain what segment have caused Kalbe to survive during the COVID pandemic. But first, I explain about product Kalbe. All of you may be very familiar with Kalbe product, right? That are many around us, like amlodipine that is very familiar in pharmaceutical industry, nutritional product like Morinaga, Prenagen, and customer health product like Extra Joss, Bejo, Promac, and the very famous during COVID era that is Blackmore, the nutritional supplement. Kalbe also has other business product like medical equipment and hospital business that we are familiar with Mita Keluarga Hospital. During this pandemic, Kalbe has tendency to survive with the current business. I think with their own innovation culture that continue to strive to create new product, Kalbe has really taken advantage of this pandemic. One of them that has just been launched is a nutritional product for people with COVID that is Pulmosol, which is nutritional milk for lung health. I think Kalbe have a good action to take on the opportunity in this pandemic. With the strong brand name Indonesia as the large pharmaceutical company with strong demand. Not only about brand, Kalbe also has cancer laboratory that focus conducting treatment using the stem cell method. This method also as an alternative to COVID treatment that already requested by several COVID patients with the harder sickness level. I think this is method also very popular new to use, but this treatment cost is quite expensive. Not only that, I also heard that Kalbe is on collaborating with several countries such as Korea and India for the manufacturing of the COVID vaccine and the distribution of the COVID vaccine from India to Indonesia. In the distribution and logistics sector, Kalbe launched Mostrans, a digital transformation platform for the healthcare product chain. Mostran offer connectivity with the healthcare product supply chain ecosystem. So with this digital platform, Kalbe can continue to operate its supply chain in the midst of this difficult situation. Kalbe also pays attention to health employees by forming a special COVID-19 group with the task of implementing and supervising the implementation of health protocol. And the last that I think Kalbe really greedy in this pandemic era is about the innovation in marketing technology. We know that because the pandemic or space for movement is very limited, Kalbe has also taken advantage of this by creating the Click Doctor application where the public can consult with specialist doctor via telephone online. From here, Kalbe can promote various products that it makes according to doctor prescription and with referral to Kalbe on hospital mitra keluarga. I think it is business field that is very strategic during the pandemic, and the ability to turn it into an opportunity to expand the business field is what make Kalbe survive during the pandemic and even then to increase during the pandemic. So from the financial report data, Kalbe net sales up to 23.11 trillion Indonesia rupiah throughout 2020. This number increased 2.12% year on year from the previous 22.63 trillion Indonesia rupiah. From the above Kalbe business innovation activity, it proved the Kalbe was able to record an increase in revenue during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have explained where the segment have caused Kalbe to survive during the COVID pandemic. So let's we continue her what Mrs. Rina think about it is the analysis of Kalbe business strategy during this COVID period.
Okay, Mr. Funky, I will explain about business strategy that Kalbe used in 2020. But first, I will explain about economy in Indonesia. So, Indonesia economy contracted 2.07% year on year in 2020. Indonesia inflation rate also recorded 1.68% all through 2020 as a consumer spending weakened. While rupiah depreciated against the US dollar over sentiment on COVID-19 spread. With this condition, Kalbe were not immune to this pandemic crisis. However, in that year, Kalbe can be able to deliver satisfactory performance in 2020. Kalbe closed 2020 by posting a net profit after tax of 2.7 trillion from 2.5 trillion a year ago. In the face of a great uncertainty, Kalbe quickly reset a company priorities in protecting the health and well-being of their employees, doing whatever was necessary to make sure they keep their supply chains running and distribution centers operating, and ensuring they remaining in a strong financial position so that Kalbe could continue to give full support to its customers. Importantly, since the beginning of the pandemic, they worked all out in supporting the government with its incentive to mitigate the health and economic impact on the country. To help the fighting and against the coronavirus and to capture a new business opportunity, Kalbe focused on introduction COVID-19 related prevention and treatment products and services. There are several actions that Kalbe took in 2020. First, in May, Kalbe announced the signing of MOU with Genezine. It is a biologic drugs company from South Korea. The MOU is to develop a vaccine for COVID-19 virus. 2. Kalbe began to distribute Covivor. It is a product for handling COVID-19 patients. And 3. Kalbe became the first private company in Indonesia that introduced PCR and rapid antigen tests for COVID-19. 4. Kalbe were active in product innovation with a special focus on prevention and herbal products that can strengthen customer immunity during the pandemic. Kalbe registered a variety of new supplements and vitamin products to enhance immune system. And 5. Kalbe accelerated its digital transformation process with the launching of Indonesia's first digital transportation platform for the national healthcare supply chain ecosystem. This allowing Kalbe to keep its supply chains up and running despite the difficulties situation, as well as deliver higher level of efficiency and effectiveness across the entire supply chains. And 6. Kalbe also done various social events to help creating a healthier and safer community across Indonesia. Kalbe donate for many hospitals 1 million masks, personal protective equipment, hand sanitizer, vitamin, and also provide PCR tests. 7. To prevent the spread of virus in their workplace, Kalbe introduced One Health apps to closely monitor the health of their employees on a daily basis. Okay, I have already explained about Kalbe's business strategy. So we continue to hear Mr. Richard about its impact to financial performance in Kalbe.
So talking about financial performance, we know that during this COVID-19 pandemic, many companies from varying business sectors struggle to keep their business running. Lockdowns and movement restrictions, while essentially protect people from COVID-19, also make it harder for people to do some economic activities. And as a result, some people may lose their jobs, their income and purchasing power, while some others may concern in doing non-essential business activities or economic activities more than before. There's a decrease in economy that affected many businesses. This phenomenon happens globally and not only in Indonesia. Fortunately, Kalbe Pharma has succeeded to maintain and even boost their financial performance. As we can see in Indonesia's Stock Exchange website, for example, we can say the profit of Kalbe Pharma has been maintained for the last 5 years. Especially for the year 2020, the net profit growth is higher than its average from 2015 to 2019. While the average is just around 3.8%, it raised around 10.3% in 2020, from about 2.54 trillion in 2019 to 2.8 trillion in 2020. While the sales of prescription pharmaceuticals division suffered 3.5% decrease, the revenue increase came from the divisions of consumer health, nutritionals, and distributions and logistics. Especially for the distributions and logistics division, we know that the needs and demand of healthcare supplies are also increasing during this COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, the company also served the distribution needs of third-party principals. The company has launched Monster since 2019, which is claimed as Indonesia's first digital transportation platform in the healthcare and supply chain ecosystem. They succeeded to focus on and thoughtfully utilize the strength, and as a result, the net sales of this division increased by 5.1% compared to 2019. contributing as much as 30.5% of the company's overall net sales. So we have discussed about Kalbe Pharma and how they survive and grow during this COVID-19 pandemic. Now we know how Kalbe Pharma focused on their strength and turned it threat into opportunities. As a result, the success of their strategy was also reflected in their financial performance during COVID-19 pandemic. I hope that we can learn from them in applying the proper strategies into our businesses.
So, as you can see, it is not only about the products that keeps Kalbe on a growth. It is the matter of how they manage maintaining this pandemic situation into their own challenges, into their own benefits, and bringing them into the competitive advantages that keeps them keep on going, even if the pandemic is getting worse. For example, in 2021, in July, when the Delta variant of COVID-19 was outbreak. So in this time, it is not only about how we have to survive. It is more about how can we turn this negative side into our positive side. Take these disadvantages into our advantages. This is a great learning for us all. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your viewing, and please do comment if there is something in your mind. Thank you.